Welcome everyone to our very first edition of Latrobe's GPL 357, where at Latrobe we are a few degrees short of a full circle. What we're going to do over the next coming weeks is we're going to do a little bit of a talk about the games and matches that happened on the weekend. We'll have a bit of a banter about what happened on the weekend with some of the players, and we'll do a bit of a preview for the coming round. So to my left we have, representing the Wood Ducks, Theo Marilakis, my outsider. How are you, Theo?
Yeah, good mate, good. This is going to be an absolute massive segment tonight. It's going to be very exciting. We've got plenty to get through, and I think it's going to be nice and sharp.
Exactly. Low chair, so sit yourself up, mate, otherwise we won't see you at the desk. Thanks obviously to our sponsor Strips, who we'll refer to during the week. So what we might first do is have a look at the matches. The first round was last weekend, and we'll talk through some of the matches, and then we might have a chat about our first round draft pick. So I might kick us off and talk about one of the blockbusters of the first round. We had last year's team, the Corruptibles, who are heading for the Triple Crown. Got to the prelim, lost in the semi-final knockout, and won.
And that's Survivor. Yeah, and that's massive, isn't it? That's something, yeah.
But they were up against the two-time inaugural winners, the Buglers, solid field. The Corruptibles unchanged from last year, but the Buglers, James Klein, a lawyer, he'll be busy with those, and the big, tall Dave Allender joined in, and quite frankly, the Buglers were absolutely fantastic. They started the season, as you'd expect, full of running. Notably, James Klein, their first in, with 39 points, led their scoring. Big Greg Madigan with 37. Dale Street, as always, solid as a rock on 36. They were just too strong for the Corruptibles, who I'd have to say were a bit disappointing. They 34. The normally absent Andy Hills was there, and then followed by Dean Pinacharo and Phil Misso there with their 33s, and the rest really didn't fire a shot.
No, they didn't fire up, did they? Not like you would expect from the Corruptibles.
No, so a good solid start for the Bugs. Who have you got there, Theo?
I've got Brother W versus the Tridents. Now the Tridents have absolutely come out with a full strength field. They had 11. They had the best score of the thing. They've put it in sixth gear a little quick, just a little quick. They've had 189, which is a massive score. They've had
didn't realise they had a sixth gear, but obviously
they've got a sixth gear. They had a massive score of Tony Andriata, their absolute spiritual leader, their captain, from what I believe, and just an absolute
2012 Charles Latrobe medalist.
2012 Charles Latrobe medalist. Who can forget that one? So we had Tony Andriata on 40 points, Chris Vogt on 39, Harry Pearson and Darryl Hocking on 37s, and Tony Leverington with a score of 36, which was their fifth, which is absolutely amazing when you think about it. They versus Brother W, which had 9. They had a score of 166, with some newbies in there with Robert Shooting and Evan Gale. They had their best score was 35 from Michael Staplefelt, which is always solid. They had Robert Shooting 34, which is a new recruit. John Talty 33, Kerry Giorgio 32, and Bruce Fairless 32. Which 166, not the worst score. So definitely doesn't get off the line.
I'll slip over to the Gummers, played the Wood Ducks, your team, Theo. I'll just go through this quickly, because if we talk in gears, I reckon the Wood Ducks are stuck in second. They pulled up 164 with Matty Sellers, the club champion, the best scorer of the thing, and Ingram took the day off chasing deer with 35, but they just weren't good enough for the Gummers, who were stung, I think, from the 2014 straight six finals exit, where they finished in the top 4 and went out very quickly. But they had plenty of scorers. Dave Carey with his 37, with his dad 36, and Shane McCarthy, as always, on 36, leading the scorers of Gummers, much too strong on 176 for the Wood Ducks, mate.
Oh, it was a grind out there, and they obviously were the better team on the day.
I will note that you guys have gone again. The uniform is a jumper, which does give the indication that you're planning on going deep into winter.
There's no doubt about it. When we decided to go, we're going to go all beanie, and that's real deep. But we decided to go the jumper somewhere where we can use it late in the season.
If you keep this scoring up, I suggest you go a balaclava. But anyway,
thank you for that one. We had Troop versus the Dynasty. Pretty close game. They both had 7 players come up, so obviously some very busy players there. We had Dynasty with some pretty consistent scores. We had Billy Hassett with a massive score of 37 in the blistering conditions. We had 36 Jeff McCabe, Chris Page 35, Tony Costanzo and Grant Cassidy 35, Tony Costanzo 33. Which, when you think about it, they've won by 14 with not the best score there, but just enough to get them over the line.
Yeah, very solid by the Dynasty, straight up. No surrender the Dynasty this year. I'm just going to slip to the draft profiles. Just have a quick look through.
And wasn't it a massive year for the profiles?
It was a great year, and Matt Pearson. I wanted to speak about Matt Pearson. The Vultures. Once again, they've had the number 1 draft pick a few times, the Vultures, which doesn't mean they've had too many great seasons. No. However, handicapper 1 it was his partner Jenny, who's off playing for the Phoenix. Loves playing, can play, punting strokes his rescue, I reckon, and it's got here the perfect synergy for the premiership and to watch. We thought we'd ask a few questions of some members to get their opinion on how they thought Matty Pearson would go in the season this year as a number 1 draft pick.
Tony, do you think as a premiership player that Matt Pearson is going to make the difference to the Vultures this year?
No hope whatsoever. Wally World has got it hands down, back to back.
Comments the premiership next year. Can I just say, Jimmy,
Tony,
do you think Matt Pearson will make a difference to the Vultures?
Matt who?
Matt Pearson?
No.
Matt Pearson?
He's a member here.
Vinny?
Yeah. Is he a member?
Member, yeah.
I never play with him.
Yeah. Tony, what do you think? All Latrobe last year? Matt Pearson?
Never heard of him actually.
Well, that didn't go real well, did it?
No, I didn't.
I'm sure his reputation will grow.
Yes.
As the years go on. We'll move on to another couple of things, and we'll talk about the 2014 Premiers. Wally World 7 grand finals over in before they lost, and they lost them all before last year's grand final.
Yep.
Where they got over the Buglers, and we might do a reenactment of that later on in the year. But they were up against all like chemists who are a fluky side. They've got the ability to go really strong, and they've got the other ability to be not so strong. But it is a cracking match, it really was, and 183 for the Premiers, a really solid score with 3 scores over 36, and then another 4 scores over 34, so real solid effort first up. They had 10 playing, 2 newbies with Nick Dunn, Shea Flash, and we'll talk about him soon too, and Greg McLeod, who defected from the Phoenix, looking forward to Wally playing Phoenix later on in the year. Well, the all-night chemists were sporting the best score of the day, Dave Pollock with 43, but he didn't have much coming up behind him. They still ended up on 179, which is solid. Jamie Bain, their new player, 33, he'll be good for them all year, I reckon. He's a ripper.
He will be an absolute machine.
He got through to them at pick 5, and I think the top 4 picks will be wondering how they missed him by the end of the year. But the Premier's off to a wonderful start, 183 and 179, and a real cracking match between those two.
I agree. We had the Vultures versus the Sewer Rats. Always going to be built up to be a massive game in round 1. We'll start off with the Sewer Rats with a score of 154. They beat the Vultures by a close margin of 3, which is massive.
That's accurate scoring, 154?
154.
Not a high watermark, I wouldn't think.
No, correct. We had, we'll start from the bottom with Rod Piper's. Now, he included in their top 5 with 21 points. We had Steve the Chochos and Frank DiVincenzo.
I have highlighted those just because they were so magnificent score.
Okay, alright.
Don't believe everything you read there. You go to Billy Fuller.
Fair enough, we'll go Billy Fuller. We'll start from the top, 36, Paul Crow 34, and they had a combined score of 154. They had 8 players, which was 1 more than the Vultures. The Vultures is a massive talking point of this year. They've got to do it absolutely 180 U-turn. They've got Nick Johnson, Rob Hall, Michael Bryant, Jeff Pratt, and Matt Pearson, the #1 draft pick. All brand new recruits, all fresh legs, ready to go.
Brody, an ex-Vulture. And that he's a Vulture now, an ex-Ferret.
Yeah,
he'd be used to winning premierships.
He would be. The Vultures don't really have that running through their blood veins just yet, but they're looking to get something rolling. So they had 9 players and they had 151, with Matt Pearson, #1 draft pick, having 35, which was a solid score out there on the Saturday. And then Rob Hall with the notable 30 points. So,
well, there we go. Well, there was one other thing we will do regularly is we'll just go out into amongst the players, and we're in a sense searching for the lost degrees of this circle of Latrobe, and we managed to catch up with Nick Dunshay, who was playing his first game for Wallyworld and had an absolute spectacular.
So we're here, it's the first round of the premiership, and we're here with Nick Flash Dunshay, who joined Wallyworld this year, first swing of the club as a premiership player in the hole. Nick, how's it feel?
It's a good feeling, good start, good way to kick off the season, and yeah, can't complain, no complaints.
Well, they won the premiership last year. If ever there's an omen to go back to back, that might be it.
I reckon it's like playing your first game for the premiers and kicking maybe 6 in the first quarter. And
how are the following quarters going?
So far, I'm square to the card. So with the 4 points in my back pocket on the my back nine, we'd have to say leading at 3/4 time.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. There's a bit to go yet now. There's a bit of history down the lanes of Box Hill in about 1970.
1970. I was born in 1970.
10.32 still holds the record of Box Hill. Is this going to top that?
Right now, it's definitely better than that, because this is in the premiership and it's at Latrobe.
Well done, mate. Well, you've set the record straight today. That's magnificent. Good luck. I hope you hold it together.
Cheers. Thanks.
There he goes. Setting records and writing history at Latrobe. The big Nick Flash Dunshay.
well, that went really well, didn't it?
Can you believe a hole in one of your first shot? That's just, you couldn't, it's a dream start. I wondered if, when he went to bed the night before and put his head on the pillow, he sat there and dreamt that that very thing happened. I don't think he did. Maybe not. But maybe will this Friday night. You just never know.
Something to think about, Nick the Flash.
Yeah, the Flash, 110.38 down the straights of Box Hill. We'll go on to our last match from the last 2 matches. The Ferrets, I've got the Ferrets, the 2011-2013 premiers against the Phoenix, who top 4, showed a bit last year, but once again straight sets straight out of the tournament once they found the coolant of the finals a little too hot. We'll see how they go this year. They got Charles LaRosa back, an old player, back in the Team Spirit world. Chaz Norton, who will be a 15 playing rock for them, great pickup. And Jenny Cummins is the wife of the #1 draft pick, and we'll be watching closely who has the best season out of those two.
I agree.
And so it was an absolute cracking match, the closest match of the round. The Ferrets were down 2, had 9 playing, and they worked their way around. They had a couple of 36 scorers in David Baker and Peter Gill, but finished on 169. But the Phoenix got over the top of them by just a solitary point. On the back, really, of Keith Finkel's magnificence, 40 points.
That was absolutely amazing.
In the morning. It was tough. It was just a cracking round, and it's dragged the Phoenix over the line. They have risen from the ashes, thanks to Keith, at least this week. Who did you have, bud?
Mate, we had the Tunners versus the Wanderers over here. We'll start off with the score. So 156 Wanderers, and the Tunners just chopped them up to bits with 179. Tunners did have a couple extra players, which is important throughout the premiership, and obviously it's going to show, I reckon, throughout a lot of these matches. The more players we can get, the higher scores you're going to have.
You've got to turn up and play well. That's basically what you've got to do.
Exactly right. There was some consistent score over the Tunners. They pretty much had a team meeting and said, boys, let's try to get an average of 36. So they've had 137 by Rob Lennox, which is always a solid rock. They've also had 2 36s, Gary Lennox and Paul Dusky. Michael O'Driscoll with 35 and Ray Wild with 35. And a notable of Bob Marsh coming in for his first game in the Golf Premier League. So congratulations and well done to the Tunners.
Well done, Bobby. Well done, and easy wins. I see they've ended up, because of percentage on the top of the table, the colours 114%. There are 8 in, but I'd like just to take this chance to have a little bit of inspiring chat. And I've got my eye on one team. If I just grab your things, and that is the Surats. If ever there was a time, Theo, that there was an omen for a team to do well, Lou Razzi, the great man who passed away a couple of years ago, Melbourne Pipelines, the fact that they are building a sewer through the course at the moment through this premiership season, you would think if ever there was a time the Surats would start well and do well, this is the time. They are in the 8, and they've told me already, I've had a few phone calls saying how great they're going. They had the second worst score of the teams on the weekend and still won. 154. It's just extraordinary to think that this is their chance. Poor old Lou will be looking down, he will be looking down and going, what's going on? Frankie DiVincenzo, Steve the Chotch, 23 points, Rod Pfeiffer's even a little underneath that at 21. I'll tell you, this is what you need to be inspired by. Helen Brown, the gardener Helen, doing all the gardening down next to the Yarra River. She was sick as you could ever imagine. When she rang me, how many we got? Is it starting today? I don't think I can get out of bed. Well, she dragged herself out of bed. She didn't stay. And she had 33 points. She had almost a point a hole better than all 3 of them. Could hardly walk, sweating, had spent the whole week vegetating the Yarra River and still rose to the thing. The Surats, you need to lift. You need to lift it straight away. You're up against the leaders, the Toners this week. If you can't win this week, you're going to have to be referred to, I think, as the sewer mice.
I'd agree with that, Tony.
It's just, they have to lift. Freesy, even Cassie's going to be a better player than you if you keep this up. So, Surats, I want you to lift. Let's get something happening.
That's a great segment, that one.
Thanks, mate. Let's go through round 2 and let's have your tips.
Beautiful.
Toners versus the Surats straight up.
Tons.
Yeah, I think the Toners once again too hard. The Surats got to show something before they get my vote at the moment. The Wanderers struggled a bit last week against the Tritons.
I think the Tritons will get up, but not by a lot. I think that will be a close game.
Yeah, the Wanderers are a funny team. They do, when they go well, they go real well. They've got some real heavy hitters there. I'm going to tip the Wanderers in just a slight upset. I think the Tritons went hard early, and I think they might just slip back, and the Wanderers might just get one underneath.
Okay.
Dynasty versus the Vultures.
I'm going to go the Vultures. Now, obviously, we spoke a little bit before about the new recruits. You know, your Nick Johnsons, Rob Hall, Michael Bryant, Jeff Pratt, Matt Pearson. You all need to lift. You all need to get through there and absolutely lift. We got Georgia Smith, Lindsay Burden, Livio Salenti, Murray Jowers, and George Sachinides, absolute life members of the Vultures.
Been in the Vultures a long time.
You all need to combine and absolutely lift for this one. I tip the Vultures for this week.
Well, I'll go the Dynasty. I think the Vultures might be leaning a bit on their new players at the moment, but they'll work into the team well. Gunners versus the Brother W's.
I'm going to go the Gunners purely based on experience this early in the season.
Yeah, they've won the Team Survivor 2 times, a very consistent thing on the Gunners. Well, Latrobe versus the Buglers.
I'll go the Buglers purely based on the fact that, again, they're another team that early in the season they know what it takes to finish in that top 4 position.
Once again, I'm going to go for the upset F-Troop. I know they're having a dinner next Friday at the Railway. Lunch it will be. Lunch will turn into dinner with those guys. I expect them to do well. They'll be pumped, ready to go, and I think F-Troop will put up a massive score on the weekend and put one over the mighty Buglers. Canvas versus the Wood Ducks.
I'm going to go on the Wood Ducks purely based on the fact that I'm playing.
I think you should too. And look, I'd expect you guys to lift and get over the Chemist, although it should be a close one, that one. The Corruptibles versus the Phoenix.
I'm going to go the Phoenix as they're a little bit underrated, the Phoenix. Yeah, they're a team, again, that can fire, and when they fire, they'll go hard. They will get a massive score. So I'm going to go the Phoenix this week.
Yeah, so I might also go the Phoenix. The Corruptibles, I'm just not sure. They are a team that, when they're on, they're great, but geez, they have some long momentum changes, and they didn't show much last week, and I'm not quite sure if they've found anything during the week so far. So Phoenix for me, and finally Wallywell versus the Ferrets.
I'm going to go to Wally World. I think they'll be solid this season. They've got a full team pretty much every week, and it's going to be tough to tip against them.
Yeah, this might be the only time I tip the Ferrets, but it's an odd numbered year. 2009 they won the knockout, 11 and 13 premiers. It is an odd year again. If ever there was something that could get the Ferrets up and about, it's the calendar. 2015 certainly won't be their talent.
Correct.
Alright, so it's all happening again this week. Tonna's on top of the ladder. Round 2, you really do need to make your run early in the season.
I agree with you. If you try to back off now and think that you're going to come in round 5 or 6 and make a mark, it's not going to happen. It needs to happen early.
No worries. Well, thanks for your time, Theo. Thanks for coming along. We'll try and get a captain in next week. To everyone on the weekend, turn up, play well and do your best for your team, and we'll see you next week. See you.